Namaste to aspirants of Ayurveda. Today we'll be discussing about a small topic, that is light. Light is one of the very important components for health as well as vision, because without the light, whatever is in the universe, we are not able to enjoy the visibility until and unless we have a light, whether it is a natural or an artificial mode of life. Along with that, light is also required for our health, our bones, etc. So, light is very important. Again, good lighting is most efficient for vision. There are various factors that are essential for a good light. They include quality of light, distribution, excessive brightness, shadows, flickering, nature of light, background, etc. factors. For example, if the quality of light is not good, even though the light is there, we are not able to visualize it. For example, if we see the things in a very dim light, especially when we are studying or doing some minute works, then we are not able to do it properly. Similarly, how it is distributed, whether it is uniformly distributed or not. If the light is not uniformly distributed, if there are in between shadows or different colored hues, then for the normal work, it is not essential. Again, the quality of light and distribution of light depends on what type of work we are doing. For example, if we are doing the office work, then we need a particular frequency light. If we are doing the very minute works, then again the amount of light required is different. And if we are enjoying a DJ, then the various colored light with flickering, brightness, etc. can also be considered as good for that particular event. If one is enjoying a dance performance, again different colored lights, etc., or direct focusing of it may be considered good for that, but not the other kind of the work. Similarly, the excessive brightness. Again, the excessive brightness, for example, when we are driving, especially in the roads, then usually it is required that, especially in the cities, the light should not be in the brightest mode, but half of the thing should be on. But if it is kept at night fully on, then the person driving opposite will be facing glaring and not able to visualize the things properly, and this may lead to the accidents and other kinds of the unwarranted events. And the shadows. Again, the shadows are always hindrance in the proper visibility, and flickering of light. As I told previously, like if the light flickers, sometimes when we switch on a tube light, then it flickers for a very short duration, then it gets switched on. But if that flickering continues, then we are not able to visualize the things properly. Nature of light. Again, different kinds of the, whether it is natural light or an artificial light. Again, in the artificial light, different types of the lights. Again, depending on the work what we are doing, that nature of light will be different. And similarly, the background. Like background, especially when we have the light background, then there will be proper contrast and we'll be able to visualize the things properly. So, like this, the lighting, different factors of lighting will affect the vision. The visual light is generally of electromagnetic radiation of wavelength around 380 to 780 nanometer band, and different measurements of units are used to measure the factors of light like brightness, that is point source of light, that is measured in terms of candela, flow of light measured in terms of lumen, and amount of light reaching the surface is measured in terms of Lambert. And again, the factors affecting the good light, that is adequate lighting should be for the visualization of the objects without the eyes getting strained. Again, how the distribution should be. It should be uniform with the same intensity over the work field, devoid of any contrast. And absence of glare, as I previously explained, there should not be excessive contrast resulting in annoyance and reduces the critical vision and also produces some discomfort. Absence of sharp shadows. Slight shadows are unavoidable, but again sharp shadows always interfere with light. Then steadiness or flickering of light is not intended. Whereas color of light, the natural light which is soothing to eyes is white light, whereas other colored lights are not intended. For example, again many times what happens is especially the two-wheelers and certain four-wheelers, they will be having different colored, yellow colored light, very dark blue colored light, which are not very much soothing to the eyes, and they are not permitted, but still the people with their own risk, they use those modes of the lighting also. And the various factors also influence the natural lighting, that is orientation of light. For example, whenever the orientation of light is in the proper direction. For example, if we are on a reading table, then the light should be on the book we are reading, not on the face. Or else if we are working on a computer, then the light should be from the behind, not from the front side. So that orientation is very important for the avoiding the eye strain. And similarly, obstruction. For example, this especially will be responsible for the natural lighting. For example, many a times it so happens plants are very, very good for the environment. We plant the plants in our premises. Sometimes it so happens it covers the windows and that will be obstructing the normal lighting. So in that condition, we have to chop down those branches so that the natural lighting enters into the windows. And again, removal of obstruction would be good. And again, next thing is the windows. Windows again, that have to be in a such place where the natural light will be directly entering into the windows. And windows again, there are the size of the windows should be bigger ones. And nowadays in the present design of the buildings, usually the windows designed are quite big. And interiors of the room, as I told previously, whenever the lighter colored background is there on the wall or the color of the wall, then the reflection of the light will be good and the visibility will be good. Whereas in case of the darker color shades of the light, then the visibility will not be good. So that they are not very good for the vision. And coming on for the types of lighting, it may be natural lighting or artificial lighting. Again, in the natural lighting, sunlight is derived from the visible sky and the reflection. It is influenced by the direction of the building, obstacles in the surroundings, windows, and color of the walls of the room. And further, the artificial lighting may be from the filament lamps or fluorescent lamps. Again, now various new kinds of the varieties of the lamps are also available. Previously only tube lights were available and CFL. Now we have the LED lights also, which are more electric efficient. So, and they are bright also, but they are a bit costlier. So some people may not be affording for this particular kind of the lighting. Further, there are different types of the artificial lighting. Again, it may be direct lighting. Example, the table lamps or direct focused lights on the stage. Whenever we are reading or doing some works, these table lamps have the advantage wherein the other person in the room will not be disturbed. Only whatever the lighting is needed will be on the focused on the table 100%, and in the direct lighting 90 to 100% of the light will be focused directly on the work area. Then semi-direct, the example wherein ceiling of mounted or suspended luminaries, wherein some part is on the focused on the surface area, other part is directed towards the other thing. And indirect, total illumination of the rooms will be indirect lighting, wherein the light lamps that are night lamps or holders facing upwards, and direct indirect where light is distributed equally. For example, general lighting of the rooms, various tube lights and LEDs, where in the hall areas we have these kinds of the lighting. Then semi-direct, semi-indirect, wherein lights enclosed in a prismatic or opalescent glass which reduces the glare and diffuses the light. That is semi-indirect lighting. Like that, various types of the lighting have been described. And next, how much amount is focused? Is in the direct lighting, around 99 to 100% is focused on the work area, whereas in the semi-direct, 10 to 40% directed upwards. And in the direct indirect, it is or the general diffusing, wherein light is distributed equally everywhere, and semi-indirect, wherein 60 to 90% directed upwards, and indirect lighting, wherein 90 to 100% is directed upwards. So like that, various percentage of light distribution is there in the different types of the lighting. Again, what is intended, what we want, depending on that, the different kinds of these lightings have been designed to serve the purpose of different works. Then previously we have discussed already about the measurement of light. To detail a bit of it, brightness of point source of light, it is measured in luminous intensity, candle power. But the international unit which is darkened, that is candela, is the international unit. Similarly, flow of light is measured in terms of luminous flux and lumen. Again, lumen being the international unit. Whichever is the darkened one, that is the international unit. Similarly, amount of light surface reaching the surface, that is lux, measured in lux. Amount of light re-emitted by the surface in the terms of Lambert. And again, different standards of lighting is there, and how much of illumination is there depending on the visual task we are doing. For example, casual reading, it is 100 lux. General office work, it is 400 lux. Fine assembly, it is 900 lux. Very severe task, it is around 1300 to 2000 lux. And very fine work like watchmaking, it is 2000 to 3000 lux. Again, as I told, one thing is the impact on the vision, the other thing, the effects on the body. In Ayurveda, it has been mentioned Arogyam Bhaskaradiche, that is, health is desired from the sun god, that is the light, and light is the energy that is needed for the entire universe, whether it is the human beings or animals or plants. Every being needs the natural lighting, because sunlight is the most essential component in this world for health and well-being, and it is having many of the beneficial effect. As per modern, the synthesis of vitamin D2, that is the precursor to its vitamin D. Then in vitro degradation of the bilirubin, biogenic rhythm of the body temperature, melanin synthesis are influenced by the light. And sunlight is therapeutically useful in hyperbilirubinemia in premature infants, vitiligo or Swasthravitra in diseases occurring due to suppression of sneezing reflex. It is a mode of natural sedation also. Further, the adverse effects. Excessive exposure can lead to sunstroke, darkening of skin, sunburns, skin cancers, and exposure during the solar eclipse can also lead to loss of vision and gene mutation. Moving on for the Ayurvedic aspects, as previously mentioned, Swasthravitra, here in Charaka Samhita Chikitsa Sthana, the sunlight has been therapeutically used. It has been mentioned the Surya Pada Santapam, that is Surya Pada, Pada is Kirana, that is the sun rays or the heating by the sun rays will be ideal for the treatment of the Swasthravitra. And what should be the quantity? It is Yathabalam. Depends on the person's strength. Further, in the context of Langana, even the exposure to sunlight has been indicated. Chatushprakara Samshuddhi Pipasa Maruta Atapo. Maruta and Atapa, that is air and the sunlight. So again, this is one more therapeutic reference where it has been, sunlight has been indicated. And even in the context of Niragni Sveda, the Atapaha, it has been mentioned. Atapaha, that is here the Atapa is sunlight. Further, the treatment of the sneezing reflex, suppression of the sneezing reflex, that is the Vegadharana context. It has been mentioned Arka Vilokanaihi, that is Arka is the sun, that is looking directly into the sun for few seconds. It is in the management of the diseases caused due to the sneezing suppression. And again, as I told, sunlight is one among the natural disinfectants that has been mentioned in the context of the purification of water, that is Hamsodaka. It has been mentioned Diva Suryamshu Santapta. Here Amshu means Kirana. The morning time, the water that is purified by the rays of the sun. So that has been indicated for the water. And again, in the context, modern also, certain context wherein the impurity in the form of arsenic compounds, if it is there, along with that even iron is present as one among the components of the water, especially in the places like West Bengal and Bangladesh, the water is naturally having more arsenic content and the iron content. Such water, if it is to be purified in a very cheaper grounds, then what it has to be done, like sunlight is also a very good oxidant. Here, if the water that is kept in the colorless bottles and for a whole day, and next morning it is shaken vigorously, then whatever the arsenic is oxidized and the water gets purified. So that is Sora's technique, it has been mentioned. So that also can be considered among the good effects of the light. So that is being used in the places like Bangladesh, where the community is poor and they cannot afford to have the now costly means of the water purifiers. So that is used. So like this, the light is very beneficial for the body, whether it is for the vision or even for the health of an individual. Light plays a very important role. So that is about the lighting. Thank you very much for the patient listening. Thank you again.